Welcome to our channel Quaint Cosmos. Today we are going to explore the comparison between geostationary satellites and low Earth orbit satellites. Low Earth orbit, in short, this is called LEO, L-E-O, LEO satellites. Okay, so geostationary satellites and LEO satellites. Geostationary satellites, these are placed at very large distance. The distance is 35,786 kilometers, 35786 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Okay, and it is placed above the equator. Since the distance is large, so only 3 satellites are sufficient to cover the entire surface area of Earth. But there is a problem with the polar regions. Polar regions are not well covered by using geostationary satellites. So advantages are there, again limitations are there for both the cases, whether it is a geostationary satellite or LEO satellite. In both the cases, advantages are there, again limitations are there. So I have already talked about one advantage. Only 3 satellites are sufficient. Okay, but there is significant signal delay in case of geostationary satellites due to its large distance. Okay, means latency is involved if you use geostationary satellites. Geostationary satellites are suitable for long-range communications, then for the purpose of broadcasting, then for the purpose of weather monitoring. These are suitable. Okay, but if you want to use geostationary satellite for the purpose of gaming, where real time is required in those cases, or say video conferencing, in those cases signal delay is not allowed, much signal delay is not allowed. Okay, so in those cases geostationary satellites cannot be used. One more limitation of geostationary satellite is that it is highly expensive. Launching and maintenance both are highly expensive for geostationary satellites. But advantage is that geostationary satellites remain fixed, means those satellites stay at a fixed position with respect to any point on the surface of Earth. Since that means they rotate with the Earth at the same speed. So ground-based stations or antennas need not to locate them. They constantly cover a fixed area. Geostationary satellites, they constantly cover a fixed area over the surface of Earth. So these are the advantages and limitations I have already mentioned. Okay, now next is LEO satellites, means low Earth orbit satellites. Those satellites are closer to Earth. Typically the distance varies between 500 kilometers and 2000 kilometers, though low Earth orbit, this is defined as 160 kilometers to 2000 kilometers, but the satellites are normally placed from 500 kilometers to 2000 kilometers. Okay, they can quickly, means speed is more as compared to geostationary satellites, and actually geostationary satellites they do not have any relative motion with respect to Earth, but here the LEO satellites have relative motion with respect to Earth, and in most of the cases they rotate a complete revolution of Earth in only 90 minutes. So fast is the movement. Okay, and advantage is that LEO satellites can cover the entire Earth and also the polar regions. Okay, but any one, if you talk about only one LEO satellite, then the coverage area is less as compared to geostationary satellites. That means many LEO satellites are required to cover the entire surface area of Earth, many. And that's why the companies like SpaceX, OneWeb, they are deploying many satellites. Means a constellation of satellites, a large constellation of satellites for the purpose of internet, means a broadband service. Okay, polar satellites, they have relative motion with respect to the surface of the earth. That means ground-based antennas need to locate them constantly to communicate with those satellites. So that means complications are there. The system becomes complicated this way, since locating the satellites is necessary. One more thing is that due to atmospheric air, the presence of atmospheric air, there is a risk of atmospheric drag. That means the lifespan of LEO satellites are not much as compared to geostationary satellites. That means the LEO satellites need to be replaced frequently as compared to geostationary satellites. Okay, so both have advantages and both have limitations. And at present, both types of satellites are used together to solve different purposes. One advantage of LEO satellite is that signal delay is less as compared to geostationary satellites. So for the purpose of video conferencing, LEO satellites are better. For the purpose of gaming, LEO satellites are better. Means that the cases where much signal delay is not allowed, cannot be allowed, in those cases LEO satellites can be used easily. Okay, so both types of satellites have their own advantages. Again, they have their own limitations. So this was all about the comparison between two types of satellites. Okay, so this is the end of this video. Thank you for watching this video.